This one's probably more Caitlin focused, and it's a tough one, I think. A year ago, I went through a burnout followed by a redundancy. How do I find the drive and confidence to go back freelancing after not working for a year?
Wow. I suppose, firstly, I'm sorry. That sounds like a terrible position to be in. Literally, you must. It sounds like you've given everything of you to this job, and then whether it happened and you were pleased about the redundancy or not, I don't know anyone who's always 100% happy with it. I'm sorry. That's not fun, and I think, like I said before, welcome it. Not that it's something pleasant to welcome, but you've been depleted, I suppose, you've given everything to this job, you've been burnt out, and then it's been taken away from you. So there's kind of two parts of this, I suppose, of building yourself back up again, filling yourself up, finding what it is that can fill you up, because burnout can have really long lasting effects for you. Finding what you can do to kind of get you back up to a functioning level. You might not know how it has affected you in areas of your life, whether it's socially, whether it's been taken from that, or mentally, physically. Try and hit, I suppose, all of the marks if you're able to. But then, I suppose the redundancy, you're grieving, whether it's something you were pleased to let go of or you weren't pleased to let go of. There's lots that you still have lost that you weren't probably anticipating. So being blindsided by having something taken away from you, whether it's financial and that sort of thing. So I suppose I'd want to address those things first before you go, how do I find the drive and confidence? Like, I need to build my confidence back up so I can get out there. Just make sure those cups are filled and that you've gone through that process of actually acknowledging what's happened. Because if we're sweeping it under the rug, it's going to come out someday. And particularly when you've gone through burnout and you've been giving everything out, if you keep giving yourself, there's going to be nothing left at some point. And that's what I would encourage. It sounds like they've been not working for a year, so maybe you've had the opportunity to kind of do that. I hope so. But going back in after a while is tricky.
I like the way you use the word grief, though, because, society, we think about grief as the usual types of grief, like bereavement, and but this is a loss to grieve and a change in your life. So
grief and loss can encompass in everything, and you kind of and it's a transition of where you have been. And if you kind of think about it, you're looking through a glass wall, and you might be looking forward at like what you need to step into, but you're still kind of standing in, this is my safety net. And so it's really hard to go through that. But then you might find yourself on the other side and turning around, looking back at like, oh, look at all the great things that I had. So it might give some clarity to, it's not just losing someone. It can be anything that you did have and you didn't have the control, or maybe you did have the control to choose to take something, change something. There's always that process of moving through into that next area.
Nick, do you want to add anything to that?
No, I guess, just realize that it is a horrible process for both people involved, and I've unfortunately had to make people redundant in the past, and it is like cutting off one of my own limbs, and it is like it is terrible, and I hope that your employer also felt that as well, because it's kind of like marriage and divorce and redundancy. I think it should always be thought of in that way, because there's such a trusting relationship that we have with our employees, and to have to do that feels like a betrayal. I guess my advice would be, try and get back out there, not because it's a job, but about what you want to be doing and what's in it for you. And if you love the craft of what you're doing, then make it about that, and that the job it's a means to that. It's not about the job itself. So maybe reframe it.
I like that.
But I realize how difficult it is.
It's nice to kind of hear it from that perspective of someone who's done the redundancy, for them to know that, it's not easy on the other side as well. It's not something that they want to be doing. Not a position.